I find bars to be a playing field of the whole human situation. And they reveal things. They tell you things, sometimes more than you might want to know. Oh, right.
There it is.
Okay, now we're in business.
Yeah.
Mitch, how you doing, man?
I'm Sandra.
Mitch,
Hi, Sandra.
hi.
Chrissy, nice to meet you.
I want to just
Yeah, go
lay
for
a
it.
little-
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, thanks for coming in. Very eager to speak to y'all.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Now, Chad, you're interested in...
I mean, I'm into all facets of the paranormal.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
We could have some good camping trips.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
I could take you to some pretty crazy places.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I may take you up on that.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what we're going to try to accomplish here today. We have your testimony and the background story of how you came to take this impression.
Okay.
And Chrissy has looked over this cast with researchers, and she is going to deliver their findings to you. I wanted to ask you to please tell us the story of your experience in your own terms. Where was it? When was it? What were the circumstances that led you to get this very unusual track?
So, my name is Chadwick Gales.
My name is Sandra Gales.
We've been married for about 8 years now, and we believe we have found alien footprints. The first experience I ever had with a UFO or anything paranormal happened about 30 years ago when I was 16. I was hanging out with a couple of my buddies at this place called Betty Knox in Chestnut Ridge. It's a popular fly fishing spot in our area, just a long dirt road beside the creek. So me and a couple of my buddies were back there hanging out, just talking. Just happened to look up and notice this bluish white orb just floating across the treetops, not making a sound. And we were like, what is that? What is that thing? We couldn't believe what we were seeing, you know? It was unreal. And this thing just floated right across, floated over the trees, and then out of sight. And then it got really quiet. We sat there for a second, and we just heard this sound. It sounded like 20 or 30 people running down through the woods towards my buddy's truck. And I mean, this really scared us. So we jumped in and we took off. So ever since that night, I kind of do feel like I'm drawn to Betty Knox a little bit. There's something very intriguing about that place. It just compels me to go there. So on March 26th, 2021, it was a Friday and I had the day off work. So I figured I might as well go for a hike. Of course, back to Betty Knox. I'd say it was around noon when I got there and just looked around for a while and kept hearing, it was really weird. It sounded like an electronic whistle. It was kind of like a whistle with a buzz of electricity. I just happened to look over and I see this sandbar. I really couldn't believe what I found. I mean, I walk over and the first thing I see are these two sets of tracks coming up out of the water, like these two things walk beside each other, up out of the creek and up the bank. And then they just walk everywhere, all around, like kind of like they were looking for something. The tracks were 14 inches long by about 6 inches wide with 3 big toes. And they were very creepy looking. Very creepy looking. They really looked reptilian to me. And I'm a pretty decent tracker, so I tried to find a track to see if they left up the road, went over into the woods, and I couldn't find where they left because the tracks just stopped. I don't know, it's almost kind of like they got beamed up or something. I was like, I didn't want to leave them because I was afraid someone would come and destroy all the evidence I found. And I mean, this was an incredible find. You don't find stuff like this very often. So I thought to myself, I need to cast these. So the first thing I did, I started blowing up Saunders' phone. She was still at work. I was just like, you're not gonna believe what I found. I'm sending her pictures and said when I get off work, I'm coming straight there. So
Well, the first thing I saw was there was 3 tow tracks all over this beach. I was like, wow, this is different. Like Chad said, they didn't have any rhyme or reason what they were doing on that beach. They were just randomly like all over the place.
we started to pour some casts and we're letting them settle. I figured I'd mix up another batch and do a couple more casts. So I start mixing it up and I hear a car door slammed. Like, I look up, of course, here comes the game warden. It's weird, it's like the guy knew we were there, pulled right in. He comes walking over, looking around, and he starts kicking his feet around, rubbing out the tracks. I was like, what are you doing? I screamed, stop. I screamed loud, too. This guy stopped and looked at me like he wanted to choke me. Like, what are you doing? I'm trying to cast these and you're kicking them all around trying to cover them up. And he's just standing there staring at me, like giving me the death eye. He just keeps staring at me for a minute.
He got into his vehicle when he left.
Yeah. We waited for the cast to settle. We pulled all the casts out. We got 6 altogether that were decent.
We had to get something. We wanted these and just wanted evidence.
From all the anomalous things we've been seeing in the sky, finding these tracks, I'm starting to think there might be an alien base somewhere deep in the Chestnut Ridge.
After a further analysis by Dr. Jeff Meldrum, the final conclusion is
Finding these tracks, I'm starting to think there might be an alien base somewhere deep in the Chestnut Ridge. We came here today to find out if the experts know what these tracks are, what made these tracks, where they come from, and possibly if they could tell us anything about what they might want there.
Yeah, I'd have the same questions if I found tracks that look like that.
Right.
And I'm fascinated with all this material.
Chadwick and Sandra Gale submitted a cast as well as photos of tracks they discovered in Chestnut Ridge, Pennsylvania. Their evidence was analyzed using archaeological research and historical data to determine what sort of creature might have created them.
Chrissy has looked over this cast, and I'm eager to turn it over to her and hear what was found.
So I should start off saying I'm a journalist in this space, so my job is to work and to talk with multiple experts. So one of the first things we do is cross-reference our time, date, and location with multiple databases. We look at cryptid databases and we look at UFO databases.
While UFO databases contain research and data and accounts pertaining to potential UFO sightings, cryptid databases deal with cryptozoology, or the study of unknown, legendary, or extinct animals.
So we did find on March 26, 2021, approximately 200 miles southwest of that area, there was a report of a long, bright object with no wings that moved across the sky.
Fantastic.
Yeah. On the same day, in the same location, the witness observed a luminous object in the treetops.
Oh, wow.
It moved down and then it slowly vanished.
Wow.
Yeah. Then it says here that unusual sounds were heard then as well.
That's like you were hearing sounds.
Yeah.
Can you do it again? Amazing. And that was in the Newcastle area. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, that's north.
It's north of us, yeah.
How far is that?
45-minute, well,
Yeah.
50 miles.
That's fascinating.
We also sent it off to have it analyzed. The expert that did the analysis on this footprint is Dr. Jeff Meldrum. He's a professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University. He thinks it resembles a prehistoric biped, which walks on its toes. It has a metatarsal pad.
That's great.
So the final conclusion that Dr. Meldrum said, it's an emu. found out the emu farm was 11 miles north. So
But did any get loose during that time? They're caged into the property,
Right.
Yeah.
so how could two of them get out
So-
and travel that far?
we do know that it's located in the region. I go by the research and the analysis. So I have to say this is not an alien footprint, but an emu footprint.
I know that you guys bring tremendous credibility to the table. You took the tracks, you consulted with the game warden, and over and above all, I want to emphasize that you behaved with impeccable responsibility. I think you guys should write a handbook about field research.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
My hat is off to you. I'm with you. I wish it was a mysterious beast. The data is definitive. This is not an alien footprint. It's an escaped emu footprint. What you've done goes a long way towards helping people understand some of this strange phenomenon. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
A real
thank
pleasure.
you. If you found something like this in the Dunbar Mountains, would you really think it was an emu?
I just thought it was a little strange that we could see them coming up out of the water, but where'd they go from there? They walked around in circles, and we don't know where the tracks went from there. They don't fly, so where'd they go?
I'm still gonna go out and look for these things because I'm not quite sure that it was an emu.
Well, it was kind of exciting. You know, the romantic in me is always happy when somebody has a cast of footprint.
Even though I'm in the UFO field, I think cryptids are awesome. I love it when people tell me stories about cryptids. It blows my mind. It also scares me too.
I want to go camping with Chad, and I want to go to all the scary places.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Well, another good night at the Variety. One more joke for the road.
Oh man,
What do you find on every alien farm?
I don't know.
A tractor beam.